Hey folks, please enjoy this clip from our show, which you can find every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern exclusively on Rumble. We've been doing the best shows we've ever done, completely free of censorship and on a platform that actually supports us. You can also support us on Locals, where you can access a ton of exclusive content, movie riffs, as well as an archive of over 1,000 full episodes going back as far as 7 years. We've also teamed up with Merch Engine to bring you a new lineup of really awesome quality shirts, hoodies, and now even hats. So come check out our untethered, uncensored show on Rumble every single weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You stupid idiots.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
We have a guest actually. Merce, if you care to introduce him.
Yes, you might recognize this gentleman if you have a computer. Obviously, recently kind of went viral due to a little TikTok snafu with his daughter. However, if I were to actually, you sent me this stuff today.
Yeah.
If I were to read the list of this guy's accomplishments
It's
and
impressive.
resume,
It's impressive.
we wouldn't have time to talk to him today.
Yeah.
But he's an author. He was a speechwriter for like what, 2 or 3 presidents.
Yeah, it's insane.
He was writing about how colleges are horrible brainwashing institutions in like the 80s.
Before it was cool.
Ben Hart is joining us.
82. Yeah. Thank you. Great
And,
to be here,
and I
guys.
forgot Bitcoin investor and breakdancer.
Yes.
So, you know.
To really round out the resume.
My first question is, how do you have so much energy, dude? Like, I barely want to get up and do this show sometimes.
I was not an easy kid in school, put it that way. I was a little bit fidgety.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're
yeah.
It really is like, talk about going viral. You got Elon mentioning you and stuff. That's wild, isn't it? Yeah.
Thank you.
You have a lot of fans here when it comes to that.
I gotta say, you handled the situation, that little internet spat, beautifully.
I appreciate it.
Like, it was, you didn't, you know what I mean?
It was respectful.
You didn't go below the belt. You didn't, like, you know, the internet has a tendency to, people just go on and just immediately have like the worst reactions to things.
God, those reactions.
And like, you came off just very likable in your video. Like, everybody that watched it was like, I fucking love this guy. Like, everybody who watches our show is like, this guy rules. I want to go breakdancing and have a beer with this guy.
Well, also because parts of it, you know, you even took accountability to some things you may have been wrong, and not a lot of people do that either. And it's a little more like, all right, look, how did. Look, and like I said, we're not looking for any sound bites or any beef. But how was the reaction to that? How was that?
Well, their reactions at different points. So when I first found out about it, I got up at 6 in the morning, got my coffee, turned on my computer, start work, and I get greeted in social media with just, you know, lots of bad comments, you know, like you're a deadbeat dad, just, you know, well, and comments kind of went down from there, and just an avalanche of this. And so I'm wondering, like, what the heck is going on? And so then after a few minutes of investigation, I find out that my daughter, Maddie, has posted a video, which actually I kind of liked 95% of it. I thought it was funny. It had a funny storyline. But when she said that I wasn't paying medical bills and implied that I was some kind of deadbeat dad, and she didn't actually say that, but that was all in the comments, and that was kind of the implication, and at least that's how people interpreted it. And so I asked Maddie to take the video down and to correct it. You know, that the video could be just as funny, but just you got to correct these inaccuracies. You know, I didn't leave the family to do breakdancing. You know, I paid millions of dollars in alimony and child support. You know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into the kids' college fund. Paid for all the medical bills, obviously.
So obviously, Bitcoin was kind to you.
Well, I'm in the advertising. I built an ad agency, so it's So I had a good business, and so, but she wouldn't take it down because by that time the video had like 7 million views. It had gone viral, and she kind of has a side hustle. She makes a little bit of money from that, and
You know what's funny, Ben? That's not the first time that Maddie is come across, and we've actually played a video on her show. Before this, it was a few months ago when she was talking about dating a guy that was more, you know, conservative, more Chad.
Bro's bro,
and we were like, oh, what a white pill! You know, they're even figuring it out. That's great. And that's the first time we even saw her come across, so we recognized it when it came up again.
Yeah. So she declined to take it down. So I said, well, at least let me put up a response video, and it'll be very mild. And I actually showed her the response video. I sent it to her, and she sort of liked it at first. She kind of said, haha, you know, in the text message. But she didn't want to put it So I asked her to put it up on her feed because that's where all her fans are and they've seen her first video. And plus, you know, she sometimes gets millions of views on her videos, and this one got 7 million, I think. And so she wouldn't do that. And so I had no choice really but to put it up on X. And, you know, I just expected to get a couple hundred views, but I was getting calls from clients, and pretty much everybody had seen Maddie's video and were asking me about it. And so I had no choice but to put it up on X. Now, I only expected to get a couple hundred views, but at least I would have kind of a fact-check video. I could point people to it and say, well, you know, here's the truth over here. And even if only a couple hundred people see it, at least my clients will see it, and I can point people to that. But I didn't realize it was going to blow up and get 33 million views, and that Elon would comment on it. And so then she put up a much more negative video with really more inaccuracies in there about how she never saw me and so forth. And even though we're living down the street and we're living, you know, literally a mile and a half away. So I had to put up a kind of more detailed video that included the home movies, you know, the videos from their childhood, you know, from after the divorce.
They were so numerous that we were hysterical laughing when we watched.
We're like, yeah, he's a great dad.
It wasn't like you just took one video and like tried to manipulate it to be like, we were like, we're watching this girl grow up.
Yeah, you're watching it every stage of life, you know.
I felt like I was at your house watching it on a projector.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like the scene of Christmas Vacation.
Now it is true that the girls didn't come over to the house much. You know, they kind of sided with the mom, and the mom, I believe, has been kind of brainwashing the kids, you know, to be against me. So basically, my son came over, and I spent most of my time with the son because he wanted to go out. And the girls generally, especially when they hit middle school, you know, high school years, they just kind of want to hang out with their friends. And even though I have a court order saying I'm, you know, allowed to see the kids, I don't want to enforce that because that alienates them even more. So, as far as I'm concerned, I had a great relationship with the girls all through their high school, even if they didn't want to come to breakfast or come to lunch or dinner sometimes, or not every time. And they want to hang out with their friends, and that's kind of what teenage girls are like. And you know, I believe I have a great relationship with my daughters. And you know, Maddie and I, literally before this whole video, this video that she put out came completely out of the blue because we having text messages every day. I mean, I have it's just like she's telling me about her day. She's telling me about this merch, you know, that she's selling now. And she's, you know, and you know, she's a writer for NBC Peacock Streaming, kind of an assistant writer.
That's pretty big. I mean,
she's doing great. So, and we're having, obviously we disagree on politics. She's definitely on the left, but as far as I could tell, relationship is fine, and and in my mind, it's still fine. I'm not mad at her, mad at her at all. I just had to kind of correct the record a little bit. And well,
I mean, you know, in a bigger sense, it's always skewed that way, though. I mean, against men, right? I mean, that's the way it is. It always has been.
I would say
they're villainized.
Yeah, I would say that the legal system right now, and this is really an issue. The legal system, you know, used to be kind of tipped in favor of the men, I would say, you know, because this is like back in the 50s and 60s when there'd be the stay-at-home mom and they'd be the guy with the career, and then the guy with the career would, you know, go off with the secretary and dump his family, and the mother would be left with the kids with no money. And so that was a reality. And so basically what's happened, though, is that the legal system has kind of gone too far in the other direction, has really snapped back against the dads. And it's really interesting when I read the comments to my video, and I'm getting a lot of support from the Black community because, you know, the Black community is plagued by fatherless homes and broken marriages, maybe disproportionately to.
There's a bunch of Black guys leaving comments going, "What's a dad?"
Yeah, they're like
so.
But the reality is, you know, and I got like lots of comments and long paragraphs of people telling their story. And what happens is, you know, if you're not like in the top 5%, you know, top 1%. I had the resources to be able to afford alimony and child support, but a lot of people they're in fixed wage positions, you know, hourly wage. They're construction workers, they're working class, they're workers, and they're on salary, and they get hit with, let's say they get divorced when they're in their 40s, right? So then they get hit with these alimony payments and child support payments, and if they don't make them, they go to jail. They go to jail for arrears, and it's just crushing people. It's just crushing guys. And the legal system is really really biased against dads, and it's just, you know, the
brainwashing is real. You know, if it does, that's the one thing I will say, that if you talk to a divorced dad who has kids, it isn't, and it could range. It's not a class thing. It could range anywhere from the richest one to the poorest one. You always go, I'm not there. Of course, my wife has custody, and I'm just being brainwashed into thinking what I am. You're not there to defend yourself, right?
Right. Right, because it's generally the mother that is raising the kids, right? And it's the father that is generally providing the money. The father's, I don't even, I'm sure that there are examples of women providing alimony and child support, but I don't think it's that often.
It's maybe, it's very rare that you could there's probably high profile cases.
And the few times it does happen, guys are always like, high five, dude. Nice.
Yeah, good for you, bro.
Tipping the scale back.
Right. So, so the system is really, the guy's expected to provide the money, and the woman, the divorced mother, is expected to raise the children. And in my case, my wife, though she did have a professional credentials, she worked in the White House for Reagan, and she had a good career, but she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So after our divorce, she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, not have a full-time career. And so I basically agreed to that. I said, okay, so I provided her a lot of money, millions of dollars to raise the kids, cover the cost of the kids. And she'd be a stay-at-home mom because she didn't want the kids to be latchkey kids. She wanted to be there. And and she did have projects she was doing. She had a column with Scripps Howard News Service, and she had some projects, but she wasn't bringing in much money, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month or something like that. And but she was basically there full-time raising the kids. And and I believe that there was a lot of brainwashing of the kids, a lot of the turning of the kids against the dad, though I really thought I had kind of overcome that, because it seemed like I was getting along great with the kids. I had Christmas dinner with the kids. We're all sitting around the table. Everybody's having a great time. Everybody's, high, and Maddie had just come out with her video on the dating situation, which, it went viral and was all over conservative media. So, we were talking about that, and everybody's just having a great time. So I felt like I feel like I have a great relationship with my kids. That's my opinion. Now, I don't know 100% what's going on in their minds, and maybe in 10% or 20% of the girls' minds, I'm a bad guy or something. But I certainly never got that impression, in the last 10, 15 years.
But I'm assuming you have a son too, correct?
Right.
I'm assuming this is the way it always works. I'm assuming you guys have the best relationship. It's always the way it is. No, it's the way it is, because you bros.
When we were watching your video, I said that when we were watching the video on the show. I'm like, I bet his son loves him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I bet if we got his son to talk, he'd be like, I love my fucking dad. He rules.
Well, it's kind of funny, when the video thing blew up, and so a few days later, I call I'm thinking, okay, is my son going to be pissed at me too, because the girls are kind of rallying around each other and around their mom, which is kind of a natural thing. And my son says, I said, hey, Maddie, Peter, did you hear about this dust up between me and Maddie on social media? And he's like, yeah, I think I heard something about it. I think it sounds like a lot of drama.
That's a dude.
That's a guy.
That's such a guy. Right, that's such a guy. They're like, yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah, leave me out of it, man. I don't care.
Yeah, he definitely want to be left out.
He's
like I'm getting everybody the same Christmas presents this year I was going to.
Anyway, I don't want to be about it, but that's such a guy. Yeah. That's such a guy.
I mean, there is the female brain is wired differently. I'm talking in general terms, and it's by different. It should be. So guys are not as emoty. We're not as trying to be as. My dad was very stoical, and my dad would never call the kids, and he would never initiate any contact with the kids. If you want to call him, yeah, he's happy to go out to dinner, have a beer, have a glass of wine, fine. But if you did not initiate contact with my dad, well, you would never hear from him again.
That's kind of how the women do kind of keep everyone sending the cards, calling people, and doing all that, and got literally me and my nephew Christmas time. If the women all leave and because they drive us nuts, if they all go somewhere, me and my nephew can sit in a room and not say a word for a half hour, and we love it. It's the best. You could just sit there and not talk. And some guys can do that. They can just enjoy a little silence.
Yeah, my wife hands me a birthday card to sign, and I'm like, who's it? Just sign it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's my friend from work. And you're like, I don't even know this
That's
person.
fine. And then sometimes I go, just sign my name. It's fine. You have a better signature anyway.
Yeah, she's making you sign a DNR.
But I will say that I think, Maddie did not intend the first video to be damaging. I think she just thought it was funny, but maybe take a few shots along the way. But unfortunately, the shots are kind of damaging to me in terms of my business and kind of makes me look bad.
I mean, honestly, if you just watched the initial video, you would understand. I mean, she's a writer, right? You would understand that if you frame it that way, like, you know, it's a lot funnier in a story to say, "Can you believe he left me to be a professional breakdancer?" Like that sounds like
that is funny.
That's like the plot of like a Ben Stiller movie. You know what I mean?
Right. It's perfect for a movie.
Right.
You know, it's like White Men Can't Jump. You know, it's like that.
Exactly. so it's
the fact that you ended your video with a breakdance is what
was
made
the
me
bet,
so
dude.
happy.
Dude, you're really
well,
good.
I was trying to keep it light. You know, I wanted to keep it light. I wanted to let her know I was not mad at her. I just wanted to, you know, correct a few things. That's it. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her now.
I just think when it came to the dust up, the internet saw the breakdance and immediately
that won everybody over.
He wins.
Yeah, you win. You won.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Some people like, because I'm in the advertising business, and people are like wondering, like, what was it about this video that caused it to get 33 million views? You know, so, and it, you know, Elon commenting obviously helped, but it had achieved, I think, 5 or 10 million views before Elon commented. Then he weighed in, then it took it up to 33 million. So it was crazy.
Well, yeah, he won't even
I do
notice
think it was the combination.
Yeah, you'd have to have a lot of views first.
Yeah. So it was funny, you know, just, but yeah, I guess it was the breakdancing plus the, you know, I kind of have look like an accountant and I'm kind of a 66-year-old white guy and I can still do this. And I was really involved in athletics when I was young. And my coaches would say, you know, see that guy over that looks like the accountant, looks like the nerd. But, you know, I was pretty good in athletics, even though I look like a nerd. So
we also did have a lot of requests. We had a lot of requests from our audience, too, if you're willing to adopt them.
Yeah. Everybody wants you to adopt them. A lot of people
in the chat.
I have to say everyone is welcome. Wait, just to build a big house and, you know.
We were watching that video. Everybody's like, can this guy adopt me? I didn't get any money for college.
I was getting a lot of that. Yeah. Just,
Irish Serpent donated $5. He says, "You've earned those 33 million views, sir."
No, thank you. Yeah, well, it's been kind of traumatic. And, you know, and Maddie's still really ticked at me. And she's, you know, I said, and this is what I really want to happen. I've offered, I want to go out to LA, just hang out with her for a few days, go on a boat ride or whatever she wants to do, just hang out. And so far she's not open to that, I guess, but hopefully she will be at some point.
I mean, every story needs a conclusion. Even if it's just first off, the views will blow up for everybody. I mean, even for that, it's smart. It's smart.
People would love it, you know. So everybody wants a happy ending. Everybody wants to see, you know, reconciliation and everybody happy.
It has to end with both of you breakdancing together. That would be awesome.
I just gotta say, I just think he's more than reasonable, and she's being kind of a brat. Let's be honest.
Well,
no,
being a little bit,
but that's look, man. I always think back when I was that age, like I was the same way, right? Like you're rebellious. Think about what you know. In my 20s, I was a moron. I will self-admittedly tell you.
I was too. Totally.
And
I thought.
You look back at some of the stuff I told my parents, and I was like, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? Like what?
Why did I do that? Yeah.
It's true. I you know, and so somebody else in the chat says basically to put it to you this way. Do you think that maybe college has something to do, not just with your daughter, but in general, to brainwash?
You wrote a book about it.
I kind of made that. I wrote a book about that. Yeah. So you know, I blame to some degree the brainwashing by the mom, but I also blame the schools because the schools are really, you know, into the woke ideology, and you know, it's not really don't learning these skills that are useful in school anymore. It's all political indoctrination, or most of it. You know, you can learn most of the skills that you need to succeed probably, you know, in a 10-week course probably.
It's true.
You don't really need 12 years of, you know, school. And I think that's the colleges are really gotten bad, especially the elite colleges like Harvard and so forth. Is just propaganda.
Wait, so you're telling me my lesbian dance theory degree is worthless?
Yeah, things like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So I mean, and she was a theater major, so she's artsy, you know, she's creative, and so the artsy people tend to be obviously more on the liberal side, and now she's out in Hollywood. But she went to Northwestern University and very woke, very, you know, I mean, it's pretty bad there, honestly.
It's most stuff. I mean, it's most stuff like that. I mean, and you know, it's obviously she has a good career, so it worked out, but. You're paying a lot of money to have your kids be brainwashed. Like that's the thing. If it's free, right? It's free. It sucks if it's free, but
it's not good if it's free. It's not good for anything. I mean, really, school is such a waste of time in so many ways. And you know, I went to Dartmouth. I graduated from Dartmouth. It was getting bad then, and I wrote a book about it. But yeah, the schools, you really could pick up all the skills you need, you know, for free on the internet now. You know, or you could take some courses that you need at community college, and they'd be very good courses, and you could learn how to code, you could do whatever. My wife, Wanda, she became she escaped from communism when the communists took over Laos. She escaped from communism when she was 13. She got across the Mekong River, got to a refugee camp in Thailand, and stayed there for 18 months, and ended up coming over here and you know, she arrived in San Francisco with one dress and a pair of sandals, and that was it. And she didn't know the language, and she did really well. She was plopped in the school, not knowing the language, and she had there was no such thing as a Laotian to English dictionary, so she had to use a Thai to English dictionary.
Jeez.
And she got a B average, and then what she did is she took courses at community college. She took a desktop publishing course, and she got hired by Geico to lay out their newsletter. And then she also took how to be a legal secretary course, and she became a legal secretary at Geico. And then she started buying real estate, and she actually started doing really well, rental properties and stuff like that. And you know, so you don't really need an Ivy League or elite college degree. In fact, I would say they're just poison.
At this point, I mean, the way we always say on the show, it's like, look, unless it's like some sort of, if you're going to be a doctor, right? I understand, right? When it's very technical, when it's very
engineer,
it's skill-based, yeah, exactly. But for everything, do we need more business majors? I mean, do we really?
No,
you don't.
What?
Do you need an English degree?
No.
Do we need more? Do we need more lawyers?
No, we absolutely need much less.
But I will say this: since you brought up education, you know, Mr. Dartmouth, I'll have you know, my co-host here went to Broward County Community College,
and I dropped out.
So you know, we got some educated folks.
And you guys are doing fine.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. All things considered.
I dropped out of high school.
All things considered,
and I got my own radio show.
I mean, Elon, you know,